Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Hello friends, and welcome to Fairfield Today. Pleasure to have you with us as we are broadcasting and telecasting downtown in the beautiful lobby of Fairfield Federal, right on the square where so many things happen behind us on the bandstand. Certainly now with the Friday night bandstands going on, and soon to be the festival this summer. There's a lot happening downtown. Nice day as we begin our taping today. And more than 30 years ago, if you can imagine that, I hardly can, a group of people got together and decided that Lancaster, Fairfield County, Lancaster really, needed an upgrade on their July 4th ceremonies, what they do on July 4th. So they began this aspirational job of upgrading July 4th. And I would say mission accomplished if you know anything about the July 4th now. Festivities are amazing. The parade is amazing. It's just a great day. Somebody to talk about that is one of those original people that began this trek, Dave Smith. Dave?
Morning, Paul. How are you?
31 years ago. You must have just been in just out of high school?
Half my age right now. Thank you.
Dave was one of the group of people that got together, and I can remember hearing programs and hearing your group talk about that. You had these kind of big ideas about where you wanted it to go. I would almost bet, though, that where it is now perhaps surpassed maybe what you thought you wanted.
Well, we're not finished yet. You know that, don't you?
It's in progress?
Yes, it's in progress.
Very good.
The most important thing that we wanted to do was make sure we had a great fireworks display, and Hamburg Fireworks couldn't be a better partner to do that.
Was that perfect?
Oh, absolutely perfect. Back in the day with Jerry and now Ken Sprague, that we have the community that has Hamburg Fireworks just down the street, and they sell retail as well, and now it's legal to sell retail locally.
Okay.
But they've been a great partner, and they give us a good bang for the buck, if you will.
Literally.
Literally. But years ago, there was a nice group of veterans and other community-minded people that were putting it together, and they just needed a little bit more help. And that's when some of my friends and I said, we can do that. It's only one day a year.
Sure. Yeah.
That's all.
Be careful what you wish for.
It's only one day a year. Now it takes about 3 months of planning, but not solid.
And I would think every year you sort of you learn what the format is.
Oh well, yeah, and we experimented with different things: live entertainment at noon, live entertainment at 3 o'clock, and those things don't really work too well because on the 4th of July, after the parade, people will go to their picnics or they go play their sport games, whatever. So we found that having the live music starting about 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock works so much better because that's when the bulk of the people are there. But it also gives you, after the fireworks, and the young families know that, if you want to take your kids to the fairgrounds and have free reign of the rides and everything else, noon to 4 is a good time because it's very low-key. And we don't have the high level of traffic that we do at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So the young families know that, and they can bring their strollers and the kids, and they have a great time.
I would say two things, and you mentioned one, is the ability to get fireworks reasonably local. Somebody wants to do a good job here locally. But the second thing is, what a tremendous place to have them at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds. I mean, it is amazing.
You can't ask for a better in-town scenario. A lot of communities, smaller communities like Lancaster, not that we're small, but smaller in origin, had their fairgrounds near downtown. And ours is only about 6 blocks from Main and Broad. So not only does the parade work out at the fairgrounds, coming downtown, and everybody can see that, but the fairgrounds is surrounded by houses where people live, and it's a great location.
See a lot of lawn chairs.
And that thing right behind the fairgrounds, what's that called?
Sticks up. It's lit now. I've heard.
It's something Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Mount Lancaster.
Mount Lancaster is a wonderful place to show the bigger rockets because the safety area is much bigger. It's already up a couple hundred feet. I forget what the elevation is different. 300 feet above the ground, and they have these big 8-10 inch rockets. So almost anybody in the county, if they're looking, can see the fireworks from Lancaster.
And here.
And hear it.
And here.
Yeah, the neighbors talk about that.
When you let's set the stage. It's a week from today, Saturday or Tuesday, July 4th.
Yep.
At the fairgrounds. The hours at the fairgrounds are.
Well, we'll have the parade in the morning at 10 o'clock.
Wonderful parade. Wonderful parade.
And we have so many nonprofits and.
What's the extent of numbers of now? Are they?
Oh, we aim for 200 units, and that's it. It comes back into the fairgrounds while it's still going out.
That's a big parade.
That's a big parade. It's like the holiday parade.
Sure.
Our community knows how to do parades.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. And the streets are lined, so we got about 8,000 or 10,000 people on the streets watching the parade. And then telecast later, live radio. I mean, our community really gets into what's happening on the 4th of July. So the parade in the morning, and then after the parade, then we open up the fairgrounds for parking at a fee, and it helps pay for the fireworks. That's about a third of our revenue is actual parking coming in. So parking's important to us, and unfortunately, we had to raise the prices a number of years ago. It's now $15 for a car, and we get people who are very happy to pay that because they know what a quality show it is.
Oh.
And we make money off the parking, off the food vendors, the ride vendors, and we get donations from the public. And the last couple of years, because of all the changes in pricing and costs of doing business, we're blessed. We have donors. It's about 200 solid donors every year send in checks. But what we do with the money is we don't have any paid employees. We pay some of our volunteers to help park the cars and set up the parade and a few things like that. But they come in and they're booster groups and things like that. So we don't have any paid employees. So we take the money and buy fireworks and pay for the fire and the police and the insurance and the fairgrounds and all those other things that are necessary to work together. But every penny we get over from this year, we put into fireworks next year. It's a wonderful process.
And just the day before, I think generally Red, White, and Boom is on the 3rd, so it would be the previous day. But I hear many people, and again, we're locals, we're homers, we get that.
Yep.
I hear many people say they prefer what goes on here to what goes on there.
Well, I've been to Red, White, and Boom because, like you say, they never have it on the 4th. It's always a weekday or a couple days before. And it's so big that they create their own clouds with all the fireworks. They throw more up in the air than we do, but you can see what we do here because Hamburg knows how to pace down below in the fairgrounds, up on the mountain, let the wind blow through, start over again.
At the end of that, you can sort of see this settling effect.
Yes. And it's always best if the wind comes from the west because it blows right across the fairgrounds and up to Mount Pleasant. And it's a beautiful sight because we can nicely see all the fireworks. And it's amazing. Years ago, Ron Burrs said, we got to do more. And Jerry Sprague was still with us at the time. And he said, well, we're doing all we can. You got about a 25 or 30 minute. And then Ron said, well, have a finale at the beginning. And so that's what they did. They put a mini finale. It would be a typical finale for a lot of other shows.
Yes.
They have that finale at the beginning. So we start with a finale at the beginning and all that stuff. And so many people who've come here for the first time, think, oh, they pushed the wrong button. They pushed Z instead of A, and it's all backwards.
How long does that last usually?
35 minutes.
I was going to say a half hour.
35 to 37 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's 8 to 10 is the finale.
Yeah.
And they have 2 boxcar truckloads of stuff with an open top, and it's just amazing. Those two trailers are just rocking and rocking and rocking and rocking and rocking. 8 to 10 minutes, and I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 things are up in the air. It's just amazing. Hamburg fireworks, can't say enough about it. The whole family.
Good neighbor.
And
again, you mentioned it too, and we see it in lots of other ways in this community, but for, say, the Christmas parade or the holiday parade and this parade, everybody in the community really steps up because they know this is really a moment.
Well, it is, and it's so enjoyable, and it's so hometown. That there are communities in Ohio, in the United States, probably just like us, that want to do it the way that they saw it when they were kids. And old-fashioned parades, old-fashioned fireworks, you can still get a dog on a stick and fair food at the 4th of July, which is part of everything that we've seen that works. We've experimented with things, and We're just down to the bread and butter aspects of what people like to do and how easy it is for them to do it.
You know, that's almost the same speech I get every year when I interview Deb Connell about the festival. She says there's lots of communities that come to her and say, how do you do that? How do you get the Lancaster Festival here for a week, 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever it is in that year? And the same would be for this. How do you get that going? Well, it's been 31 years of working on this.
Oh, yeah. And the same people volunteer every year. The group of us that do it, it's about 8 strong. And if you take care of this, and you take care of that, and you take care of that, it just happens, you know. And all we have to do is push a button and say, okay, guys, in February we're going to start. Get your stuff done. You know, make sure you get the porta pots and the golf carts, and you work with the safety forces, and just works out.
With Dave Smith talking about the July 4th, and the one line that's always stuck with me, and I think I remember this from year one when I maybe had you and Jim and Ron on, early people that were promoting this. Everybody had a job, as you said, and Ron Burris's was cloud control. That's the one line that has stuck with me for 31 years.
Everybody thinks that it's supposed to be crowd control. No, Ron's in charge of cloud control.
And generally does a fine job.
We've shot off early, I think twice in the 30-some years that we've been messing with this. I'll say we've shot them off early twice. We've never had a can't do it.
Yeah.
But in July, if you're going to have a rainstorm, it's usually in the afternoon, you know, pop-up showers. And then as the sun sets, you get a little bit more of that disturbance about 6 or 8 o'clock. Every once in a while we have a light shower, but man, you know, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we're good. We're good.
Well, we'll put up the address. Shane will put that up there where everybody can still help out the committee.
Yeah, financing, like I said, we'll take your money. Glad to have it. If you're a first-time donor, feel free. Don't need a lot from you. We just want consistent donors.
Sure.
And then if you want to be in the parade, it's not too late. We would prefer that you're already in the parade the formal way, but go to our website. You can sign up. We will take people on that day. We'd rather have the formal floats and the bigger units.
Yep.
They know what to do. But if you're thinking about doing it and just haven't done it yet, come on down.
July 4th parade got animals, we got tractors, we got horses, we got bands, got the whole deal going on.
Hometown bands and parade.
For 31 years, this group, a consortium of folks, have done such a great job. Thanks for getting it back on track. And I see you say maybe they need a little push, and you were there to help them.
Glad to.
And it's
so
a great
much fun.
parade. So exactly, and it's so much fun to watch, and then rewatch it on TV as a IVP and telecast it again. It's always great.
Yep.
Thanks,
sure.
Dave Smith.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Paul.
again. We'll have the address on the screen. Shane will put it up there. July 4th parade coming up in a week. We'll be back in a moment.
You walked down the aisle and promised happily ever after. Sometimes happily ever after means ending a relationship. We know the conversations are not easy. Deciding what's best for you, your children, and your next steps takes work and communication. At Dagger Law, we know there are no monsters in a divorce, only people trying to find their way. Local, trusted, experienced. Dagger Law.
The staff that have been here know what it takes. They've been on the other side. They see what it takes to make someone comfortable, to make the family comfortable, and really what kind of support they need. And so I think that's what really makes Fairfield what it is.
You quit smoking and thought, that's that. But here's the thing about lung cancer. By the time you see the symptoms, it could be too late. But now, there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early when it's more curable. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My name is Allie. I just became 14 years sober at the end of last month. Through the support of my family and friends, I got the courage to ask for help. And through treatment services and the recovery community, I was able to start my recovery journey. Now I get to work as a peer supporter and an addiction treatment navigator where I get to help the next sick and suffering. If you don't have family and friends that can support you right now, You can find those supports through treatment providers, the recovery community, and peer supporters like me. Every life matters, and your recovery is worth it.
This message is brought to you by the Fairfield County Adam H. Board.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Thank Dave Smith for stopping in, talking about really one of the big events. And when you think about the Lancaster Festival, the fair, the holiday parade, and the July 4th parade, I mean, they'd certainly be in the team photo of big events that happen here in Lancaster. So we appreciate Dave coming in and then another week talking about that. And then almost on top of the July 4th parade, which is in a week, in a couple of weeks, another event that's been going on probably longer or at least as long as the July 4th parade is the Millersport Community Theatre. It's again, in its own world, that artsy world, it's a big deal. We got somebody here that can chat about that, Johanna Whetstone.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Been a while since we've had you on.
Yeah, been a while, been about a year.
You've had some things happening.
Indeed, I have had plenty of things. I've had a baby.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
A little
boy
named
Clark.
Mm-hmm. Doing well?
Doing well. He's
How old now?
5 months old today.
5 months old today. Well, happy birthday.
Oh, yeah,
You celebrate every moment. I mean, get a picture of his 5th birthday.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. But this Millersport Community Theatre, we're just talking about the July 4th parade, because they've been doing that for 31 years. They've kind of got that going again. But again, since the mid-'70s, the Millersport Community Theatre, your father, was one of the mainstays, probably one of the people that really got it up and running, if the truth be known. But he was one of the people that kind of get us to today.
Yep, that is correct. He has definitely been one of the kind of pillars of the community, and also one of the
it's
pillars
a big
of the
loss.
theater.
How long ago was that?
We lost him February 28th.
February. So it's been a few months. Sure the wound is still not scabbed over yet. It's still difficult to lose such a great dad and a great person in the community. But things have to move on, and he would want that.
He would.
We've got a great one coming up, too, on July 14th, 15th, 16th,
Yep.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's Chicago.
Chicago.
Big deal. Have you ever done that before?
No, we've not done Chicago before. It's a really big one for us, really big one. It's a huge dance musical, so we were really impressed with the turnout for that. We actually had almost 60 people audition for that show.
Really?
Yeah, we've got a very big cast, a very talented cast, lots of dancers that I've never met before that came out just to do Chicago. So,
really?
Yep, really, really talented cast.
And I'd have to say, with all the people that turn out for it, the only crazy person would be somebody that would direct it. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
Who would take this on? Well, here's part of the duo, you and your husband.
Yep, my husband and I are co-directing this one.
Co-crazy.
Yep, co-crazy. And then we have a great choreographer, and I have to mention her because she's doing a lot of work in the show.
Sure.
So I would put her on par with any of the directors in the show. Her name's Faith Taylor.
Faith Taylor, and she's got all the quick steps going on there.
Oh, she's got so much work. She's probably put in more than we have, honestly.
Really?
So she's doing a great job. We are thrilled to have her.
Now, how long and again, it's coming up here in a couple of weeks, but this has been going on for a couple of months trying to get, since this is such a big production?
Yeah, so we auditioned at the tail end of April, and we've been going ever since then, about 3 to 4 rehearsals a week.
Wow. I mean, it's a commitment then.
It is definitely a commitment.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And as I remember, the talent pool is pretty widespread around, certainly not just Millersport.
Yeah, it used to be really small back in the 70s and 80s, and then it started getting wider. And then recently, especially with social media, it makes it a lot easier to spread the word about auditions and whatnot.
Oh,
yeah. And, so we've been...
People look for that.
Oh, yeah. So we've been, we get a lot of kids from Muskingum County. We get a lot of kids from, like, Logan and Athens. We get kids from
Probably
Licking
college
County.
Kids coming in
Oh,
and on break.
And we've got a couple of Capital students this time, so we've got them all over the place.
Right.
All over the place.
So how many are involved in this and in the actual production? You said it's large.
On stage, probably 40, 45. It's a big one.
That's a stage full.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. We're trying to find places for everybody on the stage.
So you've got dancers, you've got actors, you've got singers. Some probably do all three.
Yep, we've got a couple of triple threats. Those are our heavy hitters in the front.
Yeah.
Our two lead females are really, really strong in all three. And
now we've all heard about Chicago. Of course, it's legendary on the stage and all that. But what's the basic plot of Chicago?
Essentially, it's about some female murderesses in Chicago and about the city.
Comedy.
Yeah. Actually, it is pretty funny, but and about all the jazz and the lights and the city of Chicago. All that jazz.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So definitely a more PG-13 one for our audiences. For language, we're dimming down the content, but for language, we do have some of that still. So.
And where do you hold this?
We hold it at the Millersport Elementary Auditorium.
Always there, and obviously that's a limited seating. There's only so many seats. So how are tickets obtained?
Tickets, you go on to www.mctohio.com. We got a big ticket button there. You click on that, and it'll take you where you need to go.
MCT Ohio. Now, tickets probably at the door.
We do have first come first serve.
Sure.
So I mean, we do sell tickets at the door if they're available. So.
And when you get on MCT Ohio, you pick your seat.
Yep, you pick.
That's always great because then you sit where you want to sit. There's no question.
And the earlier you buy, the better seat you get.
Sure. So we've only got a couple of weeks. It's July 14th, 15th, and 16th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday are at 7:30. 7:30, and then Sunday is at 2. Couple hour show, intermission.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's about 2 hours. It goes quick because of all the dance numbers. So.
I always think that's nice because, if you're in some singing groups, you practice, and you have one show. And it's one big show, but then that's it. But at least with this, and maybe sometimes 3, you think, man, but I would think that would be, you've worked so hard so many months for this. I would think that people appreciate having the opportunity to really show their wares there.
Definitely to do it multiple times. I think some people actually would like to do it more than the 3.
Not the directors, maybe.
Maybe not. But there are some people on stage that when we get into the rhythm of a show and it finally gets really fun, and then it's time to close up and
the light
pack up
switch
the
flips on and it's like, this is going to work.
Yeah. So I think some people would really like to do more than 3 shows, but we have such a big auditorium that it's kind of hard to do that with that audience size.
Millersport Community Theatre, you have such a great following, and in a small community like that to go this many years, to pack them in this many times, multiple shows, couple of times a year. It says a lot for the area.
It definitely does. It's a great community, and that's why my husband and I came back to the community to start working with the theater again. So it's my favorite community, and that's why I'm here.
Talking with Johanna Whetstone, along with her husband and director of Chicago, Millersport Community Theatre, July 14th, 15th, 16th, and tickets on MCTOhio.com. MCTOhio.com. Good website. Lots of information. Past shows, upcoming shows, times, days. Big button that you can pick your own seats, and that's the way to go. Obviously, that's the way to go. So everything is kind of veering in here. We're getting ready for July 14th. Can we look ahead a little bit? Do we know anything in the future?
Yep. So we know we are going to do a show called She Loves Me in the fall. It's actually the same concept that the movie You've Got Mail was based on.
Oh, yeah.
So a really cute little rom-com show. It's a musical. There's a pretty popular revival that happened in the last couple of years with the famous actor Zachary Levi. So we're doing that, and we have a new director to us, but not a new director to the stage. His name's Charlie Hupp. he's from Licking County Players. He's done shows for 30 years there, so he's going to come down and work with us.
Nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Again, when you say that's in the fall?
That's in the fall. That'll be tail end of September is what we're looking at.
So you look at this, and how many shows you directed now? I know it's several.
It's a lot. Since my husband and I came back, being at the helm, this is my third or fourth, but my husband's done the same probably amount, and I'm the artistic director
Sure.
of the organization,
Sure.
so I have a hand in all of them in some capacity. But yeah, even the one when I was having a baby, I still came back and taught music the next week.
That's
so.
dedication.
Yeah.
That's dedication. So I would guess that you could say there's probably not been a community theater performance that a Whetstone has not been involved in.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's certainly been a while. At least since my husband and I have been back, there's
Sure.
been some form of Whetstone.
That's it.
There were a couple of years there while I was at college and my brother was away that my parents were members, but they weren't on stage.
Okay, but they were still in the mix.
They were still members,
Yeah.
yes. So there's been a lot of we've always been attendees, if nothing else.
Sure.
So we've always supported the community theater as best we can.
And how's the kind of the hierarchy of that work? You have a board.
We do have a board. We have a managing board. I have like an executive team. So we've got a president, a vice president, and artistic director.
Sure.
And then we've got treasurer, of course. And then there's about 13 board members that work on the board.
More local, probably.
Yeah, lots of local people.
Yeah.
We've got a couple that are from like Lancaster and Baltimore, but in general, it's mostly Millersport people.
And you see, I think since this started 75, 76, way back then, you see little productions, and some not so little anymore. You see those pop up all over now. Certainly Columbus has had
Columbus has got a lot of
legendary up there. Kenley players, I can remember even back in the 60s, 50s, and 60s, Kenley players were a big deal up there. But theater is alive and well, and it's really thriving right now, even since we got past the COVID situation, coming back strong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People want to see it. It's a nice, when there's so much going on in the world today that's a mess. People just love to sit down for 2 hours and escape all of that. You don't have to think about it. You can watch people do what they do best and do what they love.
Sure.
And that's the one thing about community theater that's really great. It's not paid, which, many of us would go, well, we'd like a little bit more money for that, but it's not paid, so you really do just do it for the love.
Sure.
And there are so many people up on that stage that are just doing what they love, and it's fun to be an audience member and watching people do their passion.
Yeah.
So.
And some of these people, I talked to a lot of the singers of groups around here. There used to be a time that if you were a singer, once you got out of high school, maybe you'd go to college and sing, but that was it. You'd have, now there's the chorale, the men's chorus, there's a woman's barbershop group, there's a Fairfield County Youth Choir, there's a Lancaster Community Chorus, lots of opportunity. But the same opportunities now are for people that want to go away in college, like you say, come back maybe just for the summer. They're here and they can do a couple plays.
Yep, do a play, do a couple, that's the beauty of it is that you don't have to be done. It's not Broadway or bust. If you love it, you love it. Yeah. So we welcome everybody.
Johanna Whetstone, who along with her hubby co-directs Chicago, coming up in a week here, July, or maybe 10 days, July 14th, 15th, and 16th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday and Saturday at 7:30, and Sunday at 3:30? 2 o'clock. Up at the elementary school where it always is, mctohio.com, the website. Get tickets early, first come, first serve, pick your seats.
Yep.
Break a leg. Mom.
Thank you.
First time I get a call you that.
Yeah, I know.
Johanna Whetstone from the Millersport Community Theatre. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Fairfield Today.
Interface Video, in cooperation with Fairfield Federal, presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fair Hope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Frankie Smith Funeral Home, Fairfield County Adam H., Dagger Law, and the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.